December 17th, 1902, Volume 4. In order to be a victim, permanent union with Jesus is necessary. This morning, when my adorable Jesus came, I was praying him to placate himself, saying to him, "Lord, if I cannot sustain the weight of your justice by myself, there are so many good souls among whom it can be divided, a little bit each, so that it might be easier to bear the weight, and people might be spared." And he, "And you, my daughter, don't know that so that my justice may unload the weight of someone else's chastisement upon some soul, she must be in possession of permanent union with me, in such a way that everything she does, suffers, intercedes for, and obtains, is given to her by virtue of the union with me, established within her, as the soul does nothing but lay down her will, unifying it with mine? Nor could my justice do this without first giving the soul the necessary graces to be able to suffer for the sake of someone else. And but how can union with you be permanent in me? I see myself so cattiva, meaning bad." And he, interrupting me, added, "Silly one, what are you saying? Don't you feel me continuously within yourself? Don't you perceive the sensible movements I make in your interior, and the continuous prayer that rises within your interior, as you cannot do otherwise? Is this perhaps you, or I who dwell within you? At the most, sometimes you do not see me, but in no way does this mean that union with me is not permanent in you." I remained confused and did not know what to answer. December 17th, 1903, Volume 6. The adoration that the Most Holy Virgin did when she encountered Jesus carrying the cross. The true spirit of adoration. Continuing in my usual state, for a few instants I saw Blessed Jesus with the cross on his shoulders, in the act of encountering his Most Holy Mother. And I said to him, "Lord, what did your mother do in this most sorrowful encounter?" And he, "My daughter, she did nothing but a most profound and simple act of adoration. And since the simpler the act, the more easily it unites with God, most simple spirit. In this act she infused herself in me and continued what I myself was doing in my interior. This was immensely pleasing to me, more than if she had done any other greater thing. In fact, the true spirit of adoration consists in this. The creature dissolves herself and finds herself in the divine sphere. She adores all that God does, and she unites with him. Do you think that when the mouth adores but the mind is somewhere else, it is true adoration? That is, the mind adores, but the will is far away from me? Or one power adores me, and the others are all disordered? No, I want everything for myself, and everything I have given her, in me. This is the greatest act of cult, of adoration, that the creature can do for me." December 17th, 1914, Volume 11. How the soul in the divine will can make a living Eucharist of her being. Continuing in my usual state, and being very afflicted because of the privations of Jesus, after much suffering he came, making himself seen in all my poor being. It seemed to me as if I were the garment of Jesus. Then, breaking the silence, he told me, "My daughter, you too can form the hosts and consecrate them mystically. Do you see the garments that cover me in the sacrament? They are the accidents of the bread from which the host is made. The life which exists in this host is my body, my blood, and my divinity. My supreme will is the act which contains this life. This will develops the love, the reparation, the immolation, and all the rest that I do in the sacrament. The sacrament never moves one point from my volition. There is nothing that comes from me which is not led by my volition. Here is how you too can form the host. The host is material and totally human. You too have a material body and a human will. This body and will of yours, as long as you keep them pure, upright, and far away from any shadow of sin, are the accidents, the veil, in order to consecrate me and make me live hidden in you. But this is not enough. It would be like the host without consecration. My life is needed. My life is composed of sanctity, love, wisdom, power, and so forth, but the engine of all is my will. So after you prepare the host, you have to make your will die in it. You must cook it well so that it may not rise again. Then you have to let my will permeate all your being. And my will, which contains all my life, will form the true and perfect consecration. Therefore there will be no more life for human thought, but only for the thought of my volition, which will consecrate my wisdom inside your mind. No more life for what is human, weakness and constancy, because my will form the consecration of the divine life, of fortitude, of firmness, and of all that I am. So each time you let your will flow into mine, I will renew the consecration of your desires and of all that you are and that you can do. I will continue my life in you as if in a living host, not a dead one, like the hosts without me. But this is not all. In the consecrated hosts, in the pyxes, in the tabernacles, everything is dead, mute. Not the sensitivity of a heartbeat, not a rush of love which may return my great love. If I didn't wait for hearts in order to give myself to them, I would be very unhappy. I would remain defrauded of my love, and my sacramental life would remain without purpose. Though I tolerate this in the tabernacles, I would not tolerate it in living hosts. In the sacrament I want to be fed with my own food. The soul will take possession of my will, my love, my prayers, my reparations, my sacrifices. She will give them to me as if they were her own things, and I will nourish myself. The soul will unite with me, pricking up her ears in order to hear what I am doing, and to do it together with me. So, as she keeps repeating my own acts, she will give me her food, and I will be happy. Only in these living hosts will I find the compensation for my loneliness, my starvation, and all that I suffer in the tabernacles. End of December 17th. Fiat.